Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit the subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about, just violence and how it's associated with us as Black people, especially younger Black folk that are out here. And, how it seems to be like anytime we gather together in mass groups, whether it's to celebrate something positive or just we're around each other in some type of social event, it seems like violence always erupts. I remember when I was young, a young adult in the early 90s, violence was prevalent when there was a whole bunch of us as Black folk around each other. You'll always hear shots. You'll always see a bunch of fighting. And it's like it's not getting any better and it's getting out of control. Over the past 2 years, what this story is about, and I want to talk about today, is the rise in gun violence and just lunacy that affects us as people. In Miami Beach and parts of Florida with spring break, 7 people have been shot over the past year, and it's affecting the residents down there. They're giving, accounts of, things that are happening, all types of craziness, and how it affects the people that live there. Sometimes, guys, when we come from out of state to let off some steam and we go to different places like spring break and stuff, they get bad reps because a lot of people come in from out of town. They have no regard for the residents that live there or the patrons, the businesses that, cater to the patrons that, have to stay up and running for you to even have a good time. It's like we go to different places, we show our ass, and we go and act like we don't care because we're not from that place. And a lot of stupidness ensues. I want to play this article real quick, this news article, and I want you guys to really think about what they're saying and look past a lot of the silliness they're showing on the video and just think about us as a people, how we got to get better, and why we always have a bad name in the press. It seems like it's always us being shown doing the craziest stuff. And you can't sit up here and say, oh, well, it's somebody else or some other social group that's making us look bad when the proof is right on the video. Check this out, guys. Look.
The city of Miami Beach taking some drastic measures after a rash of spring break violence.
It includes a midnight curfew after 2 deadly shootings. Christine Russo here with more for us. Christine.
Steve, Teresa, a violent spring break weekend in Miami's South Beach. Police there imposed a nighttime curfew, and this isn't the first time the city has taken measures like this. Actually, last year, restrictions were implemented after 5 people were injured in shootings. The mayor of Miami Beach says he wants to cancel spring break altogether in their city. The city of Miami Beach issued a state of emergency after 2 deadly shootings this weekend. Officials there implemented a midnight to 6 a.m. curfew in the South Beach neighborhood Sunday.
The volume of people in our city, the unruly nature of too many, and the presence of guns has created a peril that cannot go unchecked, especially in the evenings.
Sales of alcohol after 6 p.m. are also prohibited there. Those who actually live in the city say spring break violence and chaos has become more common since the pandemic.
South Florida was one of the only places that was open. And so we just had people from everywhere.
Longtime Miami Beach real estate advisor and former resident Ivan Chorney says spring break crowds have become more intense in the past few years.
Whatever the pandemic was bringing out in people, like being cooped up, whatever it was, like people were letting it out here in Miami Beach.
And since spring break happens at different times for colleges across the country, it's not just one particular week where crowds roll in, but a consistent influx of tourists and college kids. Officials say the goal of the curfew is to dissuade late night violence, which also affects locals who live and work there.
We can't just sit by idly and let, people destroy the beach and destroy the reputation, the ability to go about doing business, the ability for someone like me to sell some of the finest real estate in the world. Like I have to do that, a couple blocks away from where people are getting shot.
Police say they have arrested a suspect in Sunday's shooting. Meanwhile, Miami Beach officials say they also intend to impose additional curfew limits from this coming Thursday until next Monday. Teresa, Steve.
Very well.
You know, guys, I see this type of stuff, and to me, it's heartbreaking. And you know, I was young once. Hell, all of us was young once. But I mean, there are different limitations of what we knew and knew not to do in public. I've seen videos pertaining to the same story I'm doing, where people are driving down the street, just regular families, you know, that are from this area driving, encountered by mobs, you know, and they're jumping up and down on top of the cars. They're rocking the cars. They're dropping elbows on the cars. Regular people's vehicles, sometimes rental cars without no regard, just going up to the cars, hopping on top of the roofs, dancing, jumping, and there are people in the car just trying to go about their way. It's like once we get to going, we don't care about nothing. I'm gonna tell you guys something, and you know how I am on my channel. You know, I might do some tearing down of us as a people, but I also try to build us up. And this is one of them such cases. Listen, I remember the movie Glory, and a lot of you guys seen that movie Glory about the Civil War, and they had they offered the slaves or people that were in slavery freedom in, you know, exchange for fighting in the Civil War for the Union side, right? It had Denzel Washington in it. You guys know the movie. I remember the part where Matthew Broderick was the commander over the black regiment, and they went to the house, and he told them to torch the house and go in there, raid, and take everything out of there. And Matthew Broderick, was under the command of another senior officer who also had black, you know, not Confederate. Yeah, he had black soldiers with him. And it was strife between the black soldiers here and the disciplined black soldiers that were under Matthew Broderick. And he said, why are you having them do that? That's an illegal order. And he wanted him to take his slave to go in there and start tearing the stuff up too and setting the house is on fire. He was like, we don't do that. We're soldiers. Why are you doing that? And I remember distinctly what that guy said. He said, look at these N-words. He said, for God's sake, you think they'll let them go into battle? Look at them. They're nothing but monkey children. And that stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just a powerful statement of how people looked at us back in the day, like we had the mind of children. And as we, you know, no matter how old we were called boy and stupid stuff like that. And I'm not bringing up nothing to incite any type of racism, but this is what we need to do. We need to instill that into us as a people, that we've come a long way, and nobody out there should make us take a step back, including us. The music we listen to now, the stuff that, you know, is clichéic in our culture, the way we look at crime and idolize people that are criminals. We are going backwards where the rest of the civilization is going forward. And then we wonder in this country why we're, as a social group, nobody wants to work with us. Nobody really respects us. The police come into our area and kick our fucking asses and things like that, because we don't have enough sense to sit back and understand what the law is. And speaking about that, a lot of people sit up here, I know my rights, I know I'm right, while all in while don't know nothing. And sitting there and let police brutalize us. Stuff like what happened to Tyree Nichols, me down here in Memphis, you know, this week, should never happen no more. Every time we should learn from the last situation that happened. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's being murdered or dying in vain. Reason why I brought that up, like I said, it seems like the older we're getting, the next generation, the older they're getting, the more childlike they are at a higher age. When I was young, an 18-year-old kid, his main concern was getting out of high school and starting his next progression in life, either getting a job, learning the trade, going in the military, playing college sports, or just going to college and leaving the high school part and making the transition into adulthood and having a productive life. You had a small sprinkle of kids that didn't know what they wanted to do, didn't have good parenting, didn't care about anything, and just wanted to get out of school and be left alone and do whatever they want to do. Nowadays, it's like that ratio of that small sprinkle of kids back then is going up higher and higher and higher. And the reason why I keep bringing this up is this. If you looked at some of the stuff, or you guys have experienced this, you go out places and you're not from around there. A lot of people have an air of arrogance. A lot of people feel as though when they down there, they ain't got to listen to nobody. They're better than other people. We do this a lot. Why? Then we go places and then we jump up and we got to show where we from. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to take no stuff. I'm from here. I'm from there. You know, and it's like we discredit people from where they born at and stuff like that. Long time ago in Jersey, like somebody would say they're from a certain part of Jersey. And you guys know this around other places. You would like get no respect because that wasn't a tough or a violent place. We are silly people, man. We are silly people. For real. You go to a place where you're a guest. These people live there. This is not like Disneyland where it opens and closes only when y'all come. People live there. The man said, hey, he has a real estate business. He's losing money every time shots are fired. But nobody cares because what happens? As soon as they do all that goofiness, they laugh going back down the road when they're going back to where they're from. And it leaves a stain. The mayor is even saying, hey, man, I don't want this no more. We need to shut this down. What did they show on all the highlights? A bunch of us acting what? Foolish and childish. And this goes on all over. We can't never have any type of gathering or anything, even if it's in a positive light, to where we can just leave and everybody's okay. And everybody says, you know what, this is a good turnout. What's wrong with us, man? What is wrong with us? What's wrong with you? Got people that be like, oh, this is the murder capital of the world. And they brag about it like it's happy. They're happy about it. Then when something happens to them, all that goes out the window. Like I always have a saying. We never talk about what affects us until it affects us personally. Me, I don't wait to that point. You know what I'm saying? I've had cousins die in the street. I've had nephews die in the street. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I know how it is. And it's like it can be avoided. Change starts with each one of us. But as far as a social group, we'll never get respected doing stuff like that. And with the mentality that we got, it's like we're regressing mentally backwards and backwards and backwards. It's like the older we getting, the younger our minds are. You're 24 years old. Ain't no way you got the mind of an 18-year-old kid. You dancing and jumping on stuff. You got to respect. You got to know how to respect other people's stuff. You know, whether it's a rental car or somebody driving down the street in their car, they're paying for that. Not you, not. Then the police come. All you gonna do is run in the crowd and laugh about it. What are we doing? Y'all supposed to be responsible adults. Y'all the future. What the hell, man? We got to do better. Listen, leave me a comment, man. Tell me what y'all think about the situation and all the stuff in South Beach and all that. They're going to start to shut that stuff down because a lot of people can't act mature. It's like we go places and we literally show our ass. For what? And then when they shut the things down, all of a sudden people are racist. They don't want black people there and all this stuff. See why? Because we fuck shit up and we act stupid all the damn time. Man, we got to do better. This is embarrassing, man. This is embarrassing. And everybody talks about it. But when we get out there and the same people are like, yeah, you're right, you're right. As soon as they get out there, what happened? Goofy stuff right off the back. Listen, guys, leave me a comment, man. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Channel's just trying to make it different. Ain't trying to bash nobody. But, man, somebody got to keep it real and say what needs to be said. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.